I've been thinking a lot about the way that a question will change a reading. How we could get a completely different reading for someone based on the question that we ask, or whether or not we don't ask a question. I find that when I read for myself, if I don't have a question, I will inevitably interpret whatever cards come up as completely negative, and when I read for other people, I tend to be far more positive. So I'm a lot more abusive to myself than I am to other people. And so when I'm reading for me, I have to have a specific question, and I have to phrase it very carefully. And I find that the question really matters, and I get a lot more specificity, and not just specificity, but more productivity, which is sort of an icky, icky word. It sounds like corporate readings, but the reading ends up being more productive, proactive. There's more that I can get out of it. I can be more active in that way when I have a question. And when I'm reading for someone else, if I have a question, I know more about what they want. I know more about what the cards mean specifically. I feel like I can help them more. And I feel like I get a better sense of I feel like I get out of the reading's way a little bit more. I think that when I have no question ahead of me, it's easier for me to put in things that I want to see. And that happens a lot in the character readings. For example, I did the Dracula reading earlier, and I expected different cards, but because of the question I asked, which was about should I go to England, it wasn't really about death, or it wasn't really about darkness. It was a guy asking a question about a trip. So even though he's sort of the famous vampire, the reading didn't say much about that, although I did find things in there. Same thing for Lizzie Borden. It wasn't a reading about murder, it was a reading about how do I move on from this thing. And so asking a really specific question can help me get my prejudices out of the way. And I thought I would experiment with that. I thought it would be cool to do two readings. Both for the same character. We're going to do a reading for Scarlett O'Hara. And the first reading is going to be just a general one. She's not giving us a specific question. She comes along and says, I just want a reading. And then the second one will be a specific question. And it's interesting to look at how things will change, what the readings will say differently, and what the result of the readings will be. So let's go in with the first one, and this is just a general reading. We're going to do a 3-card reading in this case. They're both going to be very small readings. The first one will be 3 cards, the second one will be 4. And I'm going to do the kind of reading here where we sort of read the cards as kind of a flow of information, almost a sentence. And again, general reading, no specific positions that mean specific things. So it's reading for Scarlett O'Hara. We have the first card, which is the 5 of Wands, reversed. The second card is the 4 of Wands, reversed. I'm sorry, not the 4 of Wands reversed, the 4 of Wands upright. And then the Empress reversed. So we've got these 3 cards here. And what I do, again, I don't know what she's looking for. So really what I'm looking at is what is this telling me? And what I'm looking for in this case is a flow. I have 2 reverse cards, which is interesting. I've also got a sense that everything is moving to the left. So we're not going A, B, C. We're sort of going A, B, C. So we're moving in that direction. Even the foxes on this first card are heading in that way. The unicorns are heading this way. The energy of the Empress, even though it's going down, is still heading toward the left. There's also a really interesting thing here, too, which is that the Empress in the Major Arcana is number 2. We've got the 4 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. So we're also moving backwards in that way, 2, 4, 5. So we've got a backwards flow of energy. We've got 2 reversed cards. And we've got a very strong center card that really has a directed energy, and it's pushing very strong toward the 5 of Wands reversed. So I look at all this stuff, and I think about the little bit that I may know about Scarlett, if she's a friend of mine, or what I may know about what she said as we talked before the reading started. but I don't know very little. I do know very little. So looking at all of what I've just talked about, now I start thinking about the meanings of the cards. And my instinct is to start in the middle, because that is the strongest energy and it's pushing so much. And the Four of Wands is a very specific, joyous energy, but it's heading toward this really sort of combative energy. When I look at the Five of Wands upright, I usually think it's a playful combat. It's almost like stage combat. When it's reversed, I think it's really mean-spirited. It's a little more hurtful, it's a little darker. What I would say, so knowing what I know and looking at the energy, is that I would say that this Four of Wands pushing to the Five indicates that the desire, Scarlett's desire for a really eventful, happy, rewarding, joyous, celebratory home life is moving her into a combative state. Not a playfully combative state, but a mean-spirited, tricky combative state. This celebration that she wants, maybe a marriage, is pushing her to use her natural passions, her natural creative abilities to cause some drama. It sort of suggests that while she may think she's sort of nipping at someone, she's really sinking her teeth in and biting and drawing blood. Now, that seems to be where things are going. And let's look at the Empress for a moment. I think that this may be the root of this movement, because it's all moving this way. I think the Empress says maybe either Scarlett doesn't feel like or doesn't have a sense of a traditional female energy. She's not a common, nurturing, motherly woman. There's nothing wrong with that. But she doesn't act the way women do, or maybe that women are supposed to. She doesn't expect that of herself. It's possible that no one expects that of her, and so she feels justified acting the way she does. And it's a major arcana card we're dealing with here, so there's a deep root. It's deep inside her. She knows, and she's always known, that she's not like other women. She probably has really high expectations of herself because of that, because she knows she's different and of the world. And I think that overall, looking at the energy of this card, with the Empress there and the Wands, she's definitely a creative person. She's capable of being crafty in a good way, but using her craft and sending out a lot of energy. But this sort of difference, this I'm not like everyone else attitude or sentiment, I think justifies this behavior of I can do what I want because I'm not like everyone else. I want this, and so I'm going to do this. I'm going to cause conflict to get what I want, and it doesn't matter what the consequences of that are. Now remember, everything's moving backwards, and so what I think that says is that flow indicates that this attitude may not be moving her closer to her goal, or even moving forward in life. She may be holding herself back or pushing herself back because of her focus on this central theme of, I really want this, so I'm going to do I'm going to create discord to get it. So she's probably pushing herself in the wrong direction because of this. She's holding herself back, or she may even be moving backwards. Also, with the 4 as the center of the reading, I think that indicates youth. Scarlett may feel like she's wise beyond her years, and certainly the amount of fire, energy, and craft, and wit, and sparkle, and passion indicates she may in fact be pretty grown for her age. The 4s are early in the suit of wands. There's 10 of them. She's not even reached the middle point yet. So there is, for lack of a better word, a sense of immaturity there, of youth. So there is still time to get the things you want in life. And certainly based on the amount of fire energy here, she's capable of expending the energy to get it. But the 4 indicates there's more you got to go through before you get this thing. A lot you got to go through. So we get this backward flow, moving backwards, sort of rooted in this I'm different from other women attitude. The desire for something really joyous and celebratory is creating a lot of discord and unnecessary drama. Nasty drama. So that's actually a really deep reading. There's a lot going on there. It doesn't say what to do, but it may say what not to do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do another reading, And it's going to be also for Scarlett O'Hara, but we're going to do a question. She's going to ask a question. We're going to have a spread where the cards actually mean something. And that will be in the companion video that goes along with this. That'll be in part 2.